In the dynamic world of hip-hop, Young Miami stands out as a towering figure, making waves as one of the dynamic duo that forms City Girls. It is clear that Young Miami has a towering presence. With her music, she has not only been able to captivate audiences all over the world, but she has also garnered critical acclaim and a devoted fan base that is eagerly anticipating every word she says. Hi there, and welcome back to Rumor Spill. However, underneath the dazzling sheen of fame and prosperity lies a story of personal struggles and the ability to persevere through them. The trip that Young Miami has taken is a demonstration of her resilience, particularly in the face of a significant loss in her personal life. The passing of her son, G. Wiggins, left an indelible mark on both her heart and spirit, marking an extremely painful chapter in her life. The fact that this tragedy occurred in the public eye added an additional element of complication to the grief process that she was going through. Young Miami went to social media in order to convey her honest emotions to her fans. This allowed her to find peace and a sense of connection among different people. In addition to being a means of expression, her candidness on Instagram served as a bridge to people who admired her, enabling them to glimpse the real person that lies behind the persona she presented to the world. In the middle of the din of social media, she gave an open and honest account of the fact that the father of her late baby was always there in her thoughts, providing a window into her inner life. Young Miami revealed her anguish and sadness following the passing of G. Wiggins during an emotional Instagram live session. She shared her feelings of loss and pain with the audience. They were able to experience her journey through grief and bereavement as she navigated the complicated emotions that came with the loss of someone so close to her. This moment of vulnerability allowed her followers to witness her journey. Despite the gloom of despair that engulfed her in the aftermath of this catastrophe, Young Miami discovered a ray of hope in the work that she did throughout her life. Her music became her safe haven, a channel through which she could channel her pain and transform it into something beautiful. His music became her refuge. These artistic outlets not only acted as a distraction for her, but they also gave her a sense of direction and a revitalized sense of purpose during the moments in her life when she was experiencing the most difficulty. Young Miami immersed herself in a variety of entrepreneurial endeavors, such as a clothing line, podcasting, and acting, amongst others, in an effort to find a way to deal with the profound loss she had suffered. To some extent, her unrelenting work ethic was a method that she employed in order to keep the crushing pain at bay. During an interview with The Cut, she commented on how maintaining a busy schedule in the aftermath of the untimely death of G. Wiggins' father allowed her to navigate the mental turbulence that she was experiencing. It was conceded by her that if she had not been subjected to the consistent demands of her job, she might have given in to the depths of her despair by now. Her grief over her losses was always present, despite the fact that she had a very busy routine. During times of intense grief, Young Miami would find herself crying excessively, taking long drives to nowhere, or seeking seclusion in her bathtub. She would do all of these things. These periods of sorrow were alternated with her work duties, which provides an illustration of the intricate relationship that exists between her public persona and her inner anguish. Young Miami's participation in a scene from the television series BMF, which was too close to home, was one of the instances that proved to be extremely difficult for her. The similarities between the catastrophe that occurred in her own life and the loss that her character experienced brought up a flood of feelings, which reinforced the severity of her own experiences with loss and sadness. The publication of the album City Unlocked by City Girls in 2020 caused Young Miami to experience a reopening of old wounds. Considering that the publication of the record occurred at the same time as the murder of G. Wiggins, the father of her child, it was impossible for her to differentiate between her professional accomplishments and the grief she experienced on a personal level.
This combination of events evoked feelings of melancholy and introspection, drawing attention to the never-ending cycle of pain that she must navigate. Young Miami's Twitter musings on the time period surrounding G. Wiggins' passing, which occurred during the production of the music video for P-Talk with Doja Cat, provide an insight into the unfiltered nature of her emotional state. When confronted with the weight of filming while struggling with such a huge loss, it serves as a harsh reminder of the strength that is required to face the public eye while dealing with severe personal anguish. The narrative of young Miami displays everlasting strength and tenacity, despite the fact that it was confronted with a multitude of adversities.
Her capacity to put her pain into her music and to retain a relationship with her listeners, even in the face of a loss that is incomprehensible, tells volumes about the character she possesses. It is a story that extends beyond the music, touching on topics such as love, sorrow, and the unconquerable spirit of a lady who, despite the obstacles, continues to rise no matter what. We frequently find ourselves perplexed by the complexity of human emotions and acts, particularly when we are in the thick of personal instability and suffering. This interest extends to gaining a grasp of the reasons why individuals interact with content or individuals. A P-Talk video was able to capture a moment of great emotional anguish that occurred during a period of profound sorrow. The distress was caused by the serious condition of a loved one. The unpredictability of life and the natural feelings that it elicits are brought into sharp relief by this circumstance. G. Wiggins, who is known warmly as the father of Miami's first son and also as an ex-partner, is involved in a tragic event that takes place at the beginning of the novel. He sustained injuries that were potentially fatal as a result of a violent confrontation, which led to a whisper of a rumor claims that young Miami, who is renowned for her tumultuous and combative history, may have been the one who could have staged the attack against her estranged boyfriend. This is amidst the chaos that has been occurring. However, these are merely speculations, which are encouraged by the lack of concrete information regarding Wiggins's condition. As a result, the online community is left with leeway for limitless speculation. Discussions are taking place in an effort to shed light on the matter, and the accounts of what happened to Wiggins are all different. However, others prematurely grieve his loss, reflecting the turmoil and uncertainty that frequently accompany such devastating news. Some people feel that he is still fighting for his life, while others mourn his loss prematurely. In the midst of these competing accounts, a heartfelt tale becomes apparent about Wiggins's efforts to safeguard his sister, which places him in the spotlight as a courageous individual in the midst of a precarious situation. The charges that young Miami had planned to exact revenge are in stark contrast to this act of bravery, which paints a complicated picture of the relationship between the two of them. This horrific episode takes place against the backdrop of a series of clashes between young Miami and Wiggins, which culminated in a judicial battle involving threats and violent behavior. A turbulent relationship that has now reached a critical juncture is hinted at by this history, which was marked by disagreement and strife. This past offers a layer of complexity to the current problem, hinting at said relationship. As a result of this upheaval, young Miami has taken to social media in order to express her distress and pay tribute to Wiggins, who passed away. She presents a dad who is intimately linked to his family via the use of meaningful postings and images. He is a doting father whose relationship with his son is comparable to the inseparable coupling of peanut butter and jelly. In spite of the fact that they are loaded with sorrow, her comments nevertheless convey admiration for his personality and the role he plays as a father. While the story progresses, the tenacity of young Miami becomes increasingly apparent. She finds a means to communicate her grief and to preserve the memory of the times they spent together alive, despite the fact that she has suffered a tremendous personal loss and that the circumstances surrounding Wiggins's illness have sent her into a maelstrom of emotions. The actions that she took raise issues about the human capacity to endure, to mourn, and finally to pay honor to people whom we have loved and lost. Reflection on the complexities of human relationships, the unpredictability of life, and the ways in which we deal with loss is prompted by this narrative, which is layered with layers of passion, tragedy, and controversy. Despite the fact that it contains unique specifics, it is a story that has a universal resonance since it touches on topics such as love, bereavement, and the unyielding spirit of resistance in the face of misfortune. Subscribe Rumor Spill for more videos.